Let's begin with a simple contrast. Before British rule, India was known for its rich cultural heritage and flourishing economy, world-renowned for its fine textiles, metalwork, and global trade. But by the time India gained independence in 1947, the situation was drastically different. What happened during those nearly 200 years? India's economy was systematically drained, turning a self-reliant country into one of the poorest in the world. In this video, we dive into the concept of low level of economic development under the colonial rule, a critical turning point in India's economic journey. Before we go further, let's define a key term: economic development. In simple terms, economic development means a steady increase in a nation's income, production, employment, health, and literacy. Under British rule, India's development not only stalled, it regressed. British policies were not meant to develop India but to exploit it. Their focus: secure raw materials for British industries, create a market for British goods, maximize revenue extraction from Indian resources. Let's now explore how this translated into economic stagnation. Several economists attempted to measure India's income during the colonial period, including Dadabhai Naoroji, V.K. Rao, and Findlay Shiras. Their findings varied, but one thing was clear: India's economy was stagnant. Let's look at the numbers. The growth of aggregate real output, that is, total economic production, was less than 2% per year. And per capita income per person, grew at only 0.5% annually. What does this mean? That the average Indian in 1947 was barely better off than in 1900. A country with immense natural and human resources had been reduced to stagnation. The British weren't focused on developing India, they were focused on extracting wealth. Here's how they did it: deindustrialisation. Indian artisans and craftsmen lost their livelihoods due to the flood of cheap British manufactured goods. Land revenue systems like Mindali extracted high taxes from poor farmers. Neglect of basic services, no focus on health, education, or infrastructure for the Indian people. Drain of wealth. India's export surplus was used to pay for British wars, not for Indian development. In essence, India was treated not as a nation, but as a resource base. Let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine you're growing fruits in a garden. Someone takes away your best tools, uses your water, and forces you to grow only what they need. In the end, you own the land, but you've gained nothing. That was India under colonialism. Let's do a basic problem-solving interpretation. Suppose India's national income in 1900 was rupees 100 crores. At a growth rate of 2% per year, after 50 years it would be, final income will be 100 crores into 1 plus 0.02 raised to the power 50. That's 100 times 2.69 equals to 269 crores.
Sounds like growth? Not quite, because population growth ate it up and per capita income remained flat. 2% growth in national income minus 1.5% population growth equals just 0.5% growth in per capita income. That's the economic trap
India was caught in. Why this concept matters today? Microphone voiceover script. So, why study this? Because modern India's economic policy, planning, welfare programs, self-reliance, all stem from this historical reality. The low level of development under British rule left India with a broken economy, a poor and illiterate population, and sectors like agriculture and industry in dire need of reform. Understanding this concept helps us grasp why India chose a planned model post-independence. In our next video, we'll explore how this underdevelopment specifically affected the agricultural sector, the backbone of India's rural economy. See you there.